Hello all and welcome to video classes by Konnur Institutes. Today we will be discussing three new topics from the same chapter, introduction. Okay. So today we will be discussing consumption, production and the distribution. So these are actually called as the economic activities in economics. Even we have exchange, which is also a part of economic activity, but here we are just talking about these three economic activities. So what is consumption? Why we have to understand consumption, production and the distribution. So here we are talking about the study of consumption, the study of production and the study of the distribution. Why we have to study these things? When we are talking about the study of consumption, here we are talking about the study of a consumer behavior. So how he is going to make decisions while he is going to purchase one or the other goods and the services, right? So when he is making these decisions with regards to purchasing of the goods and services, whether he is just going to consider the quality of the product, or he is also even looking after the prices which is being mentioned for those products, or he is going on the alternative choices, or he is keeping in mind the income of his. So considering these all the things, we understand how the consumer is going to buy those goods and services. So that study is called as the study of consumption, wherein the consumer behavior, the behavior of the consumer, how he is going to purchase the goods and services. Either it might be on the quality, price or his income itself. So that talks about the study of consumption. Now when we are talking about the study of production, here now we are talking about the producer behavior, how he is going to make decisions while purchasing the raw material to make a finished good. Okay, so here he is also talking about, or he is also considering the costs which are incurred, which are involved in the production process. So whatever the study which is concerned with the producer while producing the goods and services, that study is called as the study of production. So here we are talking about the producer behavior. Next, what is this distribution? The study of distribution talks about when these goods and services have been manufactured and sent to the market. So now this has to be distributed to each and everybody, right? So here we talk about the national income, the per capita income, how these things is being distributed among all the citizens of the country. So that's the study of distribution. So this is just an introduction, brief introduction which is being given for you in the first chapter. So there we understand the study of consumption, study of production, study of distribution, where here we understand the consumer behavior, here we understand the producer behavior, and here we understand how these resources are being distributed. Okay. And next, here we have something called as statistics and economics, right? So whatever we are discussing the first chapter, this is from statistics, right? So now we have to understand why this statistics is necessary for economics. So when we are talking about these consumption study, the behavior of the consumer, the behavior of the producer, don't you think that they just live their life or they lead their life without any problems? No, right? Everybody has their problems. So to understand these problems, we need statistics in economics. So what this does is we should need some economic facts so that we can analyze these things, right? So those economic facts are called as economic data. Basis on those economic data, what we do is we analyze the data and then we come to a conclusion saying that due to this data or considering this data, we have analyzed those things, what might be the impact, what are the causes and what will be the conclusions or what will be the results. So basis on that, we are able to tackle those problems which are arising from the economic activities. So that's the reason why we need statistics in the economics. So statistics helps us here to understand these problems, how we have to mitigate or how we have to eradicate those problems. So to eradicate those problems, we need certain policies which needs to be followed in the statistics. So what are these policies? Policies are those wherein we have to follow in a systematic manner. So those are called as the policies, or we can even call them as the measures. Okay, so that also comes under statistics. So keeping these the factors. So what happens here is economics, whatever the problems we are facing in the economic activities or the economics, we can tackle them, or we can discuss and come to a solution. So that's the reason we need statistics in economics. So when we have told about these economic data, the policies, the analyzation of the data and all, then what is this statistics actually? So you have already heard about this statistics, right? So statistics has been a part of mathematics, so we call it as a branch of mathematics. So what it does, it interprets the numerical data. Okay, so here in this statistics, it's basically collection of data. Once you collect the data, what we are doing is we are presenting that data, we are organizing, and then we are interpreting that numerical data. So that's the basic definition of statistics for you to understand. So here this statistics helps us to analyze the data which we have collected, right? So that's the reason statistics is all about the numerical data. So we cannot just say that it's just of a numerical data. So there are situations wherein we have even collected the data in the quantitative data and also in a qualitative data form. So when we are talking about the quantitative, then it will be in a quantity which is defined in terms of numbers. So when we are talking about the qualitative data, then these qualitative data are dependent on the attributes of a single person or a group of person. Okay, so then this qualitative data itself is telling that quality, right? So how can you measure in the numerical data? You cannot, right? So for example, if I want to give you an example for the qualitative data, how are you going to rate for food? Can you say that it is tasting 1 or it is tasting 2 out of 5? Can you say like this? No, right? We cannot express in terms of numbers for these kind of questions. So how are we supposed to express these kind of questions? So in this situation, we talk about the attributes. Okay, how are these attributes defined? We say this food is tasting better, this food is tasting good, right? So that's how we differentiate, that's how we categorize the scale of the qualitative. So these kind of things come under this statistics. So in this statistics, we have different types of categories wherein we collect the data. Okay, we have something called as population, sample, collection of data. So these all are the terminologies which come under the statistics. So as you go on studying these statistics, the further chapters, you will be more familiarized with these all the terminologies and all the topics which are being under the which are come under this statistics. So we have these data, which is the first part, collection of the data. So in this we have qualitative data and the quantitative data. So qualitative data is that data wherein we are collecting the data in terms of numbers. For example, how many students have scored good marks, or if you say, for example, the strength of the class is 25, then these 25 students, how much marks they have scored in each subject. So you mention their scores, right? For example, out of 100 they have taken 85, 90, 95, like this, right? So these numbers are in terms of quantitative. So this kind of data is called as quantitative data. And the qualitative data, which I have already given you an example about the food, wherein how better this how food is tasting. So you have told that it is tasting awesome, better, good, and all, right? So these are the attributes which is an example for the qualitative data. So as you go on studying, or as you go further with this, you come across the classification of data, and then you come across the presentation of data. So it goes on. Okay, later we have measures of dispersion, and then we have wherein we have come to a conclusion or interpretation of data, what we say, right? So on the basis of entire study, we come to a conclusion saying that these are the outcome of this survey or outcome of this project. So that's what tells us about the what is statistics, or why we need statistics in economics. So in the next class we'll see more on the same chapter. See you all in the next video class.